The Neela we have seen every now and then, right? It is a very niche champion. As you highlighted, she's very short range. Technically not melee, but let's be real.
It's a lot closer to melee than a normal AD carry.
It really is.
Well, just super good pick, I think, here on the R5 for G2.
It really is, and it also takes it out as
Broken Blade had to flash away. Gigo nearly got him there on the solo kill. Yeah,
does rely on his items to really get that going. You do need to be careful though in this longer lane. I know he just went back. Broken Blade, he's still going. The lethal tempo stacking.
Yeah, Broken Blade's looking to keep this one going on there. Wants to find the fear. Gigo flashes away from it so he doesn't get hit by the CC, but Gigo's going to need the Qs to come back up yet again. Q2 hits! First blood solo kill for Gigo in the top lane. Broken Blade is down, but now G2's looking for a counter punch here in the bottom side instead. IU's going to be in some danger. Slam back into the wall from LeBron, but now dashes away to try to escape. Flash from Han Sama, and G2 evens up the score.
The XP timer, there's no shot, right? Because even now, he's not really that close to 6. As this is a Zinzao here. And look for the steal.
Tatu throughout the wind becomes lightning, but didn't find a target with it. Now jumping in after LeBron. Jojo's ready to show up. We will at least get a smite fight over this. As there it is, TY for Leash. Furia secures themselves the first Drake after G2 started it up.
I feel like it was a necessity, right? There's situations where I feel like if your wave state is really rough, well, you need to, but the wave state was fine.
We might just have another problem here, Chronicler. As right back in he goes. Gigo's trying to make this one into another solo kill. Gigo is making Broken Blade look foolish in this 1v1. Lead down here with the bottom lane. Caps now having to use that Spear Rush to get away from Jojo, who did go for the grand entrance after him. Caps only needed the single charge, but forcing the ulti out. Still going to be a win there in the mid lane. At the same time, it looks like Furia is now going to collect all 3 grubs, no contest. So both of the first neutral objectives go over to the side of Furia and Tatu.
Furia doesn't know that as Gigo on his way. The timing could be here for Skewmont to save his top laner.
Yeah, this would be a big one there for Skewmont. Immediately Broken Blade trying to jump in with a counter ulti as Gigo has gone too far, and it's a beautiful shutdown from Skewmont. He's ready to chase him down with a my ulti. Toots tries to escape with a seismic shove defensively, but Caps is on the hunt. He clears the unraveled earth. Another charge of the Spirit Rush is ready to go, and Toots is trapped as the feat of warfare is claimed by G2. To go again on the Vi just yet, so Toots can get plenty of distance in time as Furia is going to start up the next Drake themselves, but they got to be careful. Hans and LeBron might be able to stop him, but instead Hans is going to get caught out, has to use Killer Instinct defensively, and now Skewmont is coming in for the counter attack. Furia have overplayed their hand yet again. LeBron is ready to flash forward and try to make something happen when it becomes lightning firing right back. Tatu down to 50 HP.
Dragon plus the first couple of grubs went over. Well, the only couple of grubs now, obviously, went over to Furia, but not going to be
over it, or the rocks are going to interrupt you. Uses the flash instead since it's a blink and manages to get to safety, but that first turret is going to fall, and it'll be Furia taking it. There is the payday on the grubs right there for Toots and Furia.
Gigo has the opportunity to take a turret towards the bottom side of the map, but the value of this Poppy, I think we're only going to see more and more of as this game continues. The ability to turn fights into a moment's notice, get yourself a numbers advantage as the Herald goes through, is traded. So right now, Furia ahead. Once the Herald comes down, I imagine towards the mid lane often used there just to ensure that you get as much map control as possible.
The boots. Feats of Warfare were claimed by G2. The first turret was claimed by Furia. Both teams now sitting on 2 neutral objectives. If Skewmont gets caught out a little bit here, Exhaust will be committed on that one. They're going to put the quickness into it as well. Skewmont nearly dead, but not quite, and it'll be Gigo taking the 3rd kill of the game for Furia. All 3 kills on this top lane Aatrox. Like, yeah, just walk faster than the guy can dash. You don't have a problem. As Gigo might have a problem here. It's a 3-man play coming in from the side of G2. LeBron and Skewmont ready to join up for this one, but the early flash from Gigo to get himself out of the range of danger guarantees that G2's collapse will not result in a kill. They've still overloaded this bottom lane. They're still looking to force down the tier 1 turret, and they should be able to get away with it, but now Furia pushing the tier 1 over in mid at the same time. Broken Blade might get cut off. Tag with the wind becomes lightning. Toots trying to get away alongside IU, but Toots is going to be your target as Han Sama looks for a little bit more damage. Apotheosis from IU. A lot of damage back into Skewmont. Tatu's going in. IU's got the kill into Skewmont, and now Broken Blade's in the middle of everybody already a double kill back over to Nila. G2 have lost 2. LeBron trying to retreat now. Caps caught out, shot down, triple kill, Ayu. Furia has now earned themselves control over the bottom side river. Yes, they barely miss out on the tier 1 turret mid lane. 1 minion auto attack will kill that later on. The dragon is going to go over to Tatu. Hans Sama in a bad spot here, has enough distance to escape the infernal chains. But what about the Rakan? What about the grand entrance? What about Hans Sama's exit? Furia 7-3, 2,000 gold ahead.
And a lot of the previous... Oh, Lebrov.
I don't think we have time to talk about previous plays, my friend. We're already into the next, and Lebrov is already going back to Fountain.
And on the previous kills, even the solo kills,
find a chance to use that window to punish, but G2 is instead going to give them another problem to think about, summoning up the Rift Herald from earlier here in the mid lane. The tier 1 turret will die just to the charge alone, so they'll claim that one. Rift Herald will not be able to get the charge off onto the tier 2 turret, or at least should not be able to get that. Toots will guarantee it here. But we're getting to the point of the game, Chronicler, where now I think it will be the real test for Furia.
Be very respectful.
Yeah.
You might be feeling confident, but at any moment's notice, you can suddenly be 2 members down. Oh, Tatu?
Yeah, let's see here. Tatu, Broken Blade, defensive ulti over the wall, gets himself away to safety, but now he's not ready to join up here in this fight. Caps is up in the top lane looking to take down that turret instead, as the Otacon is down to half HP. Furia's got 5 men down here. Ayu's the one tanking up that Otacon, though, and you got to be careful. If Ayu gets debuffed, you're going to have a problem. Lebrov wants to find the Keeper's Verdict, but he doesn't find anything. Tatu jumping right back in, is immediately the quickness back on Lebrov. The Poppy in some danger. Guigo ready to follow up. Lebrov not going anywhere except a black and white screen as Otacon is claimed by Furia. Gigo even now right back up into the top side. Caps wanted to get the tier 2 turret, and yes, he will, but can he get away at the same time? A flash for a flash as Caps has a blast cone to get himself away to safety. Caps will find some global gold for his team.
Because thus far, that for Drake just being given over here.
I've been very impressed with the game so far from Furia, and now moving on to Soul Point. This just shows how critical it was earlier that G2 did manage to secure that second Drake for themselves. Yeah. Imagine if this is a 24-minute Cloud Soul for Furia instead.
Absolutely outrageous, but there is a defensive ward there. Oh.
This could be a huge... This is the most fed member of Furia, and he is now getting caught out. If Gigo dies before the fight starts, G2 might have just found the pick to turn the game on its head. The shutdown over to skirmishing, but it will be traded back 1 for 1.
Ayu.
Now Ayu's ready to show up, but he's isolated. Ayu's over on the other side of the fight. He's all alone. He has to flash over the wall to join up with the rest of the team, but Caps is already down. Tatu's got the kill into Caps, and Toots is not done chasing. Broken Blade and Hans Sama are on the run. Toots flashes over the wall, and BB tries to fight back, but the dog's been declawed, and Broken Blade is down again. Right when it looks like G2 found their moment, Furia found G2.
That's Nash! Straight up, and G2, they look for the sideline pick, but taking out his Aatrox takes so much longer than I think they bargained for, and it's again the response from Furia. The immediate rest of the teammate arriving in a moment's notice. And someone on G2 dies. His decision-making has been so good. Now with the Baron.
Here we go again, man. Broken Blade with another defensive ulti here on the Warwick. Gigo is behind enemy lines. Now getting jumped on by skirmishing. But Gigo is not down. Yes. The healing from the Aatrox baits in Hans Sama, and Furia is furious in the face of G2 Esports. The inhibitor turret in mid lane broken as the inhibitor is about to follow. Gigo is back in the base, but he's got his teleport. He's joining back up with the rest of Furia. It's a 5-man push with a Baron against 3 G2 defenders. Furia has made their way onto the Nexus turrets. The first is already down. G2 are out of sorts. They cannot defend. Caps has to flash away from the apotheosis just to survive, but the rest of G2 cannot do the same. Furia win the first game of MSI 2025. Mage threat, like in the presence of the Rise on Furia's comp. So this last pick, Cassante, for Gigo, a character that loves to be able to just say, sure, I'll build a Jack show and then nothing but armor, is fantastic, I feel like. Invading enemy jungle here on the potential opportunity for a chance to go after Caps, but
Yeah,
Caps
I mean,
playing
you are
towards that other side.
Skewmon.
Oh,
Looking
Skewmon
good.
might just be able to turn this one around. Gigo in some trouble. This time around, top lane's not looking the same as game one. And it's first blood over to Broken Blade.
Good bait set up by Broken Blade there. No one ends up dying, but it's still, I think G2 pretty happy with that. And it's again, these gangs to come through. There it is, there's no ult for Broken Blade.
Yeah, Gigo's going all out. Pathmaker to try to buffer through the counter-strike. Broken Blade getting away. Gigo tries to flash forward for the Intofo strike. Toots is coming up to try to cut off Broken Blade's escape route. Realm Warp gets him in range. Toots is there. He binds him up in the Rune Prison. The last auto attack gets it done. And Toots evens up the score.
It was an attempt at trying to force a flash out of, because I don't think there was really a kill opportunity there. There is on the cross map though, good amount of pressure, but oh, Tatu, instead of going for Dragon, it looks like he's trying to go for the counter punch. There is, I think, a counter-strike available, so we'll see if BB can outplay this.
Yeah, this is pretty dangerous. Jack's very effective at defending against these types of situations. Gigo is about to die to the turret. He barely gets away. Tatu needs a little bit more distance to close into Broken Blade, and he finds it finally there with that last Q. So Furia gets their man. Gigo barely survives. That's a 2-1 game now for the side of Furia, but it does come at the cost of G2 Esports claiming all 3 grubs on the other side of the map. Now Skewmon firing off the ulti, wants to catch Gigo with it. Pathmaker to try to buffer through the CC. Kasante's tanky, but he's only got 50 health. And Skewmon brings him down to tie this game up at 2-2.
Thanks to the CSing and the plates. So he did get the plate. So I guess that maybe he would call worth on that one. As the Dragon is going to come over here.
Is plus 125 gold on your Kasante worth more than plus 300 on the enemy Maokai?
Because they need to respect, because you are still strong in the all-in.
Yep.
And they don't really know where the members are. As a flank on Jojo here, he's in deep trouble.
Yeah, Jojo's about to have a bad time. He tries to flash away, so at least Lebrov can't knock him the other direction. But meanwhile, the Bramble Smash from Skewmon's going to do the same job anyway. Feat of Warfare claimed for the second game in a row for the G2 mid laner here, but it looks like Caps wise to what might be going on, stepping away for now. Gigo stepping forward, going for the third Intofo strike, not going to hit that one. Caps tries to Valk out, but now immediately with a Pathmaker, Gigo going in while Toots is in a 1v2 down to the bottom lane at the same time. Caps is going to be killed off first. Now, Toots, flash over the wall. Broken Blade ready to follow, finds the stun, but he's Rune Prism.
Phase rush.
Toots makes it back over towards the turret. Phase rush, ain't gonna work. Broken Blade with the flash at the last second to guarantee that he hits him with the empowered bonk.
Battle of the Boots just going to claim them straight up towards this bot side of the map, and G2 says, okay, Broken Blade, we get it. They're paying a lot of attention. We're going to give you some love.
Yeah.
As now, towards the bot side of the map, that top lane you were talking about, even with the kills, even with the first turret bot as you highlighted, Broken Blade still fine as the TP comes through. There's a lot of people here, though.
Yeah, remember, Lebrov with the Alistar ultimate. This is a powerful turret dive, but not when you go in that early. Lebrov just barely gets away. It's all calculated by G2 with a full 5-man stand. Jojo steps away from the chains of corruption, right back in to Broken Blade's waiting arms, and G2 is not making the mistakes from game one again.
There's no way for him to join. We had the full 5-man rotation because Hans also, I think, just walked from mid lane towards the top end of the map. And if this Einer falls as well, even if he ends up dying, which I don't think is a given, Jack's obviously quite slippery.
Yeah.
Wukong, they'll be able to get him. It'll take a while, but that doesn't matter. I think that the trade is 100% worth it, although the Dragon will most likely go over to Furia.
Yeah, it was a lot of money from a tier 2 turret. You are going to get a good amount from the shutdown as well. You will get it onto the Rise.
Oh, never mind. Okay, if you get Dragon as well, it's like... Because the shutdown, that's a bit rough, but if you don't lose Dragon, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, Hafen does have both Rise and the Rel, who's now low enough HP that he has to reset. Means that G2 has control over this bottom side river, has control over the Drake. Once again, Chronicler, we are at a 1-to-1 Drake state.
Particularly the Wukong and Rise in mid to late game team fights are absolute menaces. So we still need to see G2 actually close out on this. The team fight's going to be very interesting because I still think Hans is going to have a tough time. That objective just gone though, and
is forced to retreat.
I think Furia should be happy that that didn't end up going worse. That was a very scattered engage because Hans was able to flash. Jojo didn't quite catch him off guard. Now the flash being down for Hans, that's a big win. That's something, but because of how much else was invested there, at least for now, Furia is going to have to back off. They didn't, G2, unable to find a counter kill, but I don't really think that they need to, again, as long as they get to go for these counter engages, they're going to be happy.
Yeah, they might still find their counter kill here as JoJo's already down to half HP. That rail is not long for this world. Broken Blade's already got him. Tatu's dead next. And now, with Gigo teleporting into 5 players in G2 jerseys, Gigo is going straight into the ground. G2 just crushed Furia.
In the previous Blade, Furia was able to slip away. This time around, not so much. G2 found the front line, not ready for this many people to be there, and able to both get the kills, get the Otacon as well. And to Furia is, Broken Blade.
Yeah, Broken Blade getting a little bit of damage onto Ayu there, forcing him to Essence shift back over to safety, as G2 just has total control still over this bottom side river, over this Drake pit. Easy enough for AP Maokai to just burst this thing down fast enough. Not insanely quick, but still.
It's really hard for them. Again, we keep going back to this. There are not a lot of good targets on G2.
There's Hans Sama. That's about it.
Yeah, well, so, I mean, if it caps like that position, obviously, then maybe, but
try to make.
And that's G2 now. It's very straightforward. Just keep starting Baron, and every time they come out, poke them off. The only thing you want to avoid at all costs is an actual flip. It's really hard to reliably deny access to Tatu, although if you just put him to like half health this early on,
that'll work. I mean, JoJo goes in, but where's the follow-up? True Shot Barrage doesn't hit. Hans gets found. Gigo's gonna die at the same time. JoJo engages on the enemy AD carry, but there's nobody else next to him. And Furia is just all out of sorts here in this second game. G2 perfectly confident to stay in the position they're in, to continue forcing Furia back out of the jungle. And now, with the enemy top laner down, with that Cassante front line no longer a threat, now G2 start up the Baron and dare Furia to stop them.
Oh, that's a creative angle that we see here from Tatu on the Wukong. It does get spotted though. I don't think he's going to be an opportunity to actually get a steal here. Going all the way around is, JoJo.
Yeah, JoJo is out of there.
They know, yeah, you see the pings coming down. Like, they are aware that he's behind them. He was spotted earlier on.
Ayu gets out, Toots gets out, but getting out is all they're going to get because the rest of G2, they've just got control over the Baron pit. Tatu trying to be a man on a mission, but the only mission now is survive. Tatu will have to use his Cyclone to disengage. Broken Blade keeps on the chase. He's just going to force Tatu back, and Baron goes over to G2 26 minutes in.
Right, because it's already hard to regain any semblance of control against a team like G2 as Ayu.
Oh boy. Yeah, that Maokai ulti's not going to give him anywhere to go. Trying to pop the cleanse to get out of it. But Broken Blade is powerful on the Jax in this second game. And Hans Sama's chains barely miss on JoJo, but Lebrov ready to follow it up here with the pulverize into the headbutt. That's 2 for G2, and now it might just be something back for Furia. Gigo wants caps, but he has to trade his life to find it. 3 for 1 across the rift, as now it's only Toots and Tatu to try to defend, but they're nowhere near the lane being pushed, Chronicler. The tier 3 turret in bottom is already fallen. The inhibitor is the next target. It's 2 Baroned up cannon minions. It's the Rift Herald power, the Void Grub power.
Hextech Soul is also one of the souls where becoming, or trying to play the game, truly becomes a nightmare, particularly with the amount of poke that's available. Like every single sapling, every single Corki rocket, and every Varus arrow will slow and damage the entire team.
Then the counter gank in bottom to stop any chance of Tatu turning things around there. Toots just having to use the Realm Warp to try to get away to safety, as now Skewmon's ready to follow it yet again. Here comes the Nature's Grasp, immediately ready to lock up JoJo. The Rel once again beaten down before any effect can truly happen, as Skewmon tries to get away. G2 backing out, waiting for their cooldowns, as Furia continues to look for something, but Lebrov is creating space. Hans backing back up again as Ayu gets the shutdown into Lebrov, but Gigo is not strong enough to truly threaten the back line. G2 have lost their support, but they take out the enemy top and support at the same time. Toots wants caps. He doesn't find him yet. Toots stuck inside the hourglass, and his time's run out. Tatu trading with Skewmon as the AP Maokai finally falls there to the Wukong, but it does not matter. Toots was the only one left standing on Furia. Oh boy, I don't think he's going to keep standing for much longer either. Broken Blade stopping him from getting away with a Hex Gate, and Broken Blade gets the last kill for the delayed ace. Might have a little bit of a headache in the morning after that Ignite, but
also after the the soul point.
Yeah,
the Baron up as well.
It's rough. It's rough.
A little bit.
About 10 seconds here on the Baron. Broken Blade, however, getting caught out a little bit, but he's still not dead. Tatu wants to follow, but he goes straight into the dirt instead. It was all calculated.
Sure, but he calls people, or he pulls people over, right? That's all that really matters. This is again going to perfectly set up the Dragon, basically the same time as before, but this time it will lead to a Soul getting picked up, Hextech Soul. That's not something that I think you can generally come back from. Jojo, I think unfortunately is still alive for a little bit.
I don't think that little bit's going to be a whole lot longer, however, as he uses Magnet Storm. Might as well. By the time you're back alive, you'll have it again anyway. Hextech Dragon doing a little bit of damage onto the roster of Furia as Broken Blade goes for the flank yet again. Ayu trying to escape as the Realm Warp gets Toots back to safety, but Broken Blade already has the stasis ready to go to buy enough extra time. Turn it around, guarantee the unstoppable kill there onto Gigo as the piercing arrow. I praised him throughout the whole game, and that's a great example why Hans Sama is not missing on this Varus.
And the B1 picks, back-to-back, end up being huge. It was the Taliyah in Game 1 for Furia. It's the Varus in Game 2 for G2, but obviously Broken Blade having an infinitely better game this time around. The team, they gave him a little bit more help, and he paid them back.
Yeah, Broken Blade here in the front line now. Finally drops. The shutdown goes over to Jojo. It ain't gonna matter. Furia dropping like flies at the steps of their own fountain. G2 come back with a vengeance. And 34 minutes in, they're gonna take their win and tie up this series in Game 2.
From a lane matchup perspective, I do get, but I don't think that the setup is amazing. Really, your best ball delivery system is the Pantheon, and that's not that great.
Chases after Caps, but the stun was ready, and Caps stops the Furia jungler from being able to get anything at all accomplished here. Now back in the bottom lane, the 2v2 continues with Jojo and Ayu trying to fight back against these guys. LeBron with only 300 HP has to think twice about whether or not he wants to find that dredge line shot as Skewmon makes his way into the top lane. Gigo tries to flash out of the Pillar of Filth, but Broken Blade's immediately ready to follow. He goes for the brittle, he finds the proc, and Gigo's getting rocked. Skewmon takes a bite out of him. It's first blood over to G2. All three first bloods have been in this top lane on the side of Furia to force them to reconsider, to make sure that G2 can't just play their G2 game. Skewmon already starting off here, looking for this first Drake nice and early. Caps caught out though, Toots going in. Toots finds the solo kill on Caps as Broken Blade makes his way over and works together with Tibbers to avenge the G2 mid laner. A 1-for-1 trade in mid as Skewmon will take the Drake in the meantime. That means it's total control over the top side river. Should be a guaranteed 3 grubs for the side of Furia. Skewmon and G2 have to be aware of this. Skewmon's just going to go into enemy territory, take the jungler's favorite camp, the enemy chickens, as Toots isn't going to be able to stop a whole lot about it, but he at least will slow it down. Skewmon actually doesn't get all of the baby chickens. So
Trundle's biggest enemy.
Now Furia with the chunk on the enemy support, looking to extend their control over this bot side river. Skewmon still hanging around though. Lebrov walking close to the Tribe Rush, does get found out. Tidal wave over the top. Lebrov taking a ton of damage, and Tatu gets the kill. Furia ties this game up 2-2. Trinket has already been used by G2. They know that Furia is going after this, and Furia has already used a lot of tools. They wanted to use them to make those kills, but now it's Skewmon getting caught out. He has to flash to try to get away, but the curtain call is opened up. The bullets are firing off, and once again, it's G2 grabbing the feet of Warfare. Furia has overplayed their hand, and G2 is happy to punish a little bit of a juggling going on here in mid lane as Tuts is caught out and beat down, and Caps is getting paid.
When the play started out, I thought that G2 had overstepped, but I think Furia just a little bit too over-eager there to dive into that choke point. They had full control of the choke point leading into River. I think if they play that slower there, play out, G2 will either absorb or just force an engage with the insane amount of hard engage that they have. And the Ornn items are going to be such a big deal when the enemy composition is relying upon just toasting someone as soon as they can. And maybe there's an opportunity here.
Broken Blade He'll take a little bit of damage here from this Flame Spitter, but honestly, the Koenig Rookhorn, it gives you so much health, so much MR. Furia serving themselves up on a silver platter. They're thinking better of it. They're backing away. Maybe if Caps steps up a little bit too far here. Skewmon gonna come in, look for Toots.
Reinforcements on the way.
Yeah, we're gonna get teleports from both sides. Grand Starfall, defensive positioning out of that one. Broken Blade knocked up into the air, but that's not the target you can go after. The Ornn is so tanky, flashes out, going to buffer through the tidal wave there. A lot of damage on this Skewmon, but he ain't dead yet. The Ornn goes through onto 4. Tatu's gonna die, and Caps cooks him up. G2's gonna lose their mid laner right on back. Such critical health bars on both sides. Only Toots and Hans Sama still with a lot of resources to work with, but Furia is hanging around, trying to do more damage to the tier 1 turret. Gigo in the tri-brush, has to be careful here. Skewmon stepping forward.
Multi-man flame spittering them down.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's enough as, oh, Toots.
Toots is in real trouble here. Caps ready to follow it up. Toots does a flash to try to get out, but it is a little bit late. Gigo finds Caps as Skewmon was so preoccupied trying to find the kill. There was enough space between him and his own mid laner that Caps gets picked off.
To anything else, like it's nice that you get the kill, but really you want to try and turn it into an objective. They did get the dragon though, actually. Observers did highlight that as we were coming out of the topside play. That Orianna ball is a big problem. Unless G2 is willing to invest ultimates, the zone control is tough to deal with, but if he gets caught...
Yeah, Toots in some trouble here, but immediately backed up by Gigo yet again. Labrov coming around on the flank, but he's not close enough. Skewmon and Broken Blade both in a lot of trouble now. Nice tidal wave! Broken Blade still alive for now, but finally falls. Hans Sama and Labrov trying to get a little bit back here. Onto Jojo, onto Ayu, but instead, it's just another kill. Back to Furia as they get themselves 2 for nothing and a ticket punch straight to Otacon.
And that's a huge deal! This is going to be Otacon going over. Flash invested by Skewmon as well. The mid lane turret will fall, so G2 punches back, but I think you're still going to be pretty happy with that as a trade, as yeah, he sees Dynami and is like, no, never mind.
He's like, all right, we're just gonna, it's a little bit of fast and furious racing here as the Herald finally hits the ditch. Then you also have the duo of Hans and Labrov separated off. It was a 1, a 2, and a 2 as Broken Blade fires a nice ulti to hit Ayu. He tries to use the cleanse to get away. He's already used the flash, and Ayu is down. Jojo wants to get away, but he's stunned up at the very edge of the curtain call, and G2 just found exactly what they were looking for. Caps picks up the second one.
Oh, the hook?
Hook onto Toots, but a nice counterattack there with a shockwave to lock them all up. But G2's got a counter to the counter, and they are gonna slam through Furia. Only the jungler left alive as G2 get 2 for free and then immediately follow it up with another double. They'll get the tier 2 in the mid lane. They've immediately got the wave ready to get the tier 2 in the top lane, and this game just got completely smashed in the favor of the LEC number 2 seed.
Hansama offering himself up as bait. The gold lead much bigger than you can see on your screen because of the power of that Ornn.
Exactly. Now G2 grouped up as 5 in the mid lane. Here's those full-on honest 5v5s that you were talking about. Here's what's so hard for Furia's comp to play out. A nice route there coming out from the Deadly Flourish. Equalizer's not going to get a lot done. It's only Labrov taken low. Tatu's going to grab the kill on him immediately here at the very start as Broken Blade and Skewmon having to retreat now. Curtain Call is fired. Its final shot. G2 have not won the fight, and now with the Grand Starfall coming in, Tatu ain't done. Broken Blade tries to get out, but a little bit more damage is going to seal the deal. Tatu takes out Broken Blade, and staring down the barrel of a difficult situation.
And Furia smell the weakness, dive in immediately. Another reminder that it doesn't matter who you are, even Broken Blade, as tanky as he is, as many jokes as we make about the Koenig Rookhorn, if everyone on that team focuses you, you will die.
Still a tier 2 turret up in the bottom lane, so it's not like he can try to do a full wraparound play here, find a move on to Toots. Ayu in a lot of trouble. That'll be a free catch for G2, and with the Lucian out of the picture.
For now.
For only a moment.
Yeah, only momentarily. I think that's going to go down quickly. As you highlight, nice catch there from G2. It's a long-range engage again. As a very short-range AD carry, at some point he's going to have to walk up to a wave, where he was promptly greeted by, as we can see, an Ornn Horn. Now,
Furia's going to give it.
There's no blue trinket available. They're going to just send it,
Wait,
but it's
no,
too
never
early.
mind. They are not going to give it. Tatu jumps in with the Grand Star fall, but that star fell too early. And that is Baron plus a Pantheon as the cherry on top for G2 Esports. Outside of the lines of their base, and G2 only need one more wave to force it down.
G2 just trying to play as calm and collected as possible. Ornn items coming through across the board. Only a few more left until everyone rather is kitted out. Feeling good. It's Rebel Baron power play. Gonna try and play for an inhib.
Okay, Broken Blade frontlining here again, just not afraid of that damage. Calling a bunch of it hits him, but not to great effect, as they've still got that powered up cannon minion slowly chipping away at this turret. If we're looking at Ornn items, they're empowered now for the Annie and the Trundle alongside the ones that we already mentioned for the Ornn and the Jhin. As here it goes, G2 going in for what could be the game-ending play. They do catch JoJo, and Caps guarantees he's already down, but Caps is traded back. IU gets the shutdown there, but G2 continues their push. It's bodies dropping on both sides as Gigo barely stays alive, but now Lebrov, Hans, and Broken Blade gotta be careful. Broken Blade dropped low, but he ain't dead yet. Tatu keeps the chase going as G2 has to back up. Caps dying early meant that Furia was able to stabilize and keep this game alive.
TP.
Now a TP ready to rejoin as Broken Blade continues running away. Tatu and Toots ready to join up with Gigo and try to guarantee a little bit more. Lebrov gets tagged there by the Electro Harpoon. He's out of there, and Grand Star falls ready to lock up BB. A little bit more damage, a little bit more CC here with a stun. Tatu's got the kill, and G2 lose 2 on the way out.
Yes, they find JoJo, watch him get evaporated, but he doesn't really matter. Still gets his spells off. And then here we see a little bit of a too deep chase onto Gigo, who doesn't actually end up going down. And as you point out,
the fact that Gigo lived with 200 HP makes the difference on the follow-up play, as Skewmon has been found out in the bottom lane. He was all alone, and Furia is happy to show him the error of his ways.
the inhib also didn't end up actually falling because of the whole sequence. Oh, Caps, that's a trap.
Oh, maybe not. Caps is really enjoying these interactions with his squishy short-range AD carry here on this Annie.
G2, fortunately, despite those picks, didn't end up losing more than a soul point.
Toots with the flash over the wall to guarantee that he doesn't get caught out there by Caps, but now Lebrov could be in a little bit of danger. The Nautilus is not particularly tanky. Tatu just steps up, puts the spear in his back. That's a rampage for Furia's side as a 35-second death timer for the Nautilus. Instinct to go for the enemy chicken camp when it's up. Caps is going around for a potential. The calling nearly kills him. Caps is dead. Caps! He wanted to make the hero move.
Furia tried to get the Baron, try to get back in this game.
Curtain Call has opened up though. Tatu's got to be careful about that one. This Baron already doing significant damage to Furia, but they want to keep the aggro on. Curtain Call is gone. Furia with the pick on Caps. He had smite. He had smite. He had smite. That's
a little scary there, Cap.
That's a deadly flourish is not a Varus arrow. Or maybe we're not even going to get to see that happen. Furia is just marching down mid lane. Caps back alive, hitting level 17 here on the Annie. Furia, they'll take the tier 2 at least. Again, the gold lead, just practically nothing at this point. Annie, he's got the flash ult. They try to go in for the ultimate there from the Nautilus as Caps goes in for the engage, but he only engages onto JoJo. Tatu's here on the front line. He's about to be taken out. Caps barely keeping himself alive as Gigo's about to die here too. Toots stays alive as IU gets the kill on the Caps, but now the carries on Furia gotta try to escape. G2 have found a massive fight. They found the AD carry, and it's a double kill for Skewmon as he takes a big old bite out of Brazil's hopes in game number 3. It's G2 versus Toots for the next 25 seconds, and G2 are barreling down mid lane. The inhibitor about to fall, the minion wave already ready, and Broken Blade so tanky, he'll take a shower in Nexus turret shots before he backs off. Lebrov goes in for the dredge line. They'll lock up Toots. They'll lock up this game. It's G2 after a 37-minute battle, taking game number 3.
And the fact they got IU there at the end, I'm pretty sure he got just, despite his flash, clipped by the Trundle Pillar knockup from Ornn. So definitely a matchup where I think you're a little more... If this was an Ornn, I think you're feeling great. Obviously, Ornn after last game, not available.
Right. Fearless taking that one out.
Yeah, we're just continuing this, because why not? This is a Renekton without flash, but he is still a Renekton, so... Oh, that's a slice and dash used!
Yep, they wanted to get the E, and then you bring up the Nocturne. Now Gigo finds a little bit more damage with another Decimate, and for the 4th time in 4 games, first blood is top lane. Furia on the board. Tatu, he might not be farming camps, my friend, but he's farming champs.
And it is Broken Blade attempting to really keep the pressure up, as you would do, as... We do have Labrov on his way.
Oh, miss. Nice connect there on the hook. Ayu gets grabbed, and the follow-up from G2 forces out a flash. Ayu staying alive for now, but it's a potential 4-man play from the side of G2. Caps with the flash in for the Blooming Blows to find the first kill, as Toots now in the middle of 4 has to use the ulti back over the wall.
Say no.
No.
As top lane, events are still transpiring.
Yeah, we've got ultis traded back and forth now with a fully charged Decimate. There's that last little bit of damage for the Nocturne. The Fear Tether is attached. He's wearing alligator boots. Tatu grabbing the 2nd kill for Furia. See that I was afraid of? This is the kind of one that you really don't want to see. Beautiful pull from Labrov into the Wombo combo with Hansama's ulti. Jojo's in a little bit of danger. He finally dies, but Toots is hopping in there to make it a 1-for-1 here so far. Now wants another. Hansama in danger. Toots grabbing a double kill. Tatu's about to die to Tatu off to the side at the same time. Skewmon won't get a kill. Holy cow, G2 just lost 4, and Furia sent him straight to the Shadow Realm.
And yeah, Jojo dies.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, did he even... he did die, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he did die.
Who cares?
Yeah.
You got 2 kills. Tatu does still need to get a base in, and also, again, they got the grubs. But an early Ocean Drake does mean that the Dragon's Soul will probably be high value. Opportunity here for G2. This
is also the first game where Furia claims the feats of warfare, as now Scion ulti from Gigo to set it up for Tatu yet again. The Cold and Meek for the heal isn't enough, and Tatu's on a rampage. That is 3 kills on the Renekton for the Nocturne.
There is no arrow. Jojo does still have his ultimate available, but I think that Tatu wants to look for a base.
Ooh, Toots looking for the kill in the bottom lane, but the pipe breaks out here in mid. LeBron in some danger. Beautiful Seraphine ulti hits all 3. And now Skewmon and Hans got him. But Ayu is focus firing straight through him. Skewmon. Furia.
Are they going to find him out?
They don't want to allow it to happen, though.
There you go.
Oh, Tatu's going to see the Drake. It's down low. Tatu, he flashes in to try to smite it away, but it looks like both smites got used, so it might have been a bit of an early activation there from Tatu. Diving in now with a paranoia. Wants to go after Hans. Sidesteps away.
Whoa. I mean, you still take that. That's Dominus gone.
Yeah. Dominus out of the picture. BB still very low. Top 2 down to about half HP. This is your Fed Nocturne. It's a massive shutdown if they get it. Skewmon and Caps coming in. Tatu is very low. There's your Pop Blossom from Caps. And the shutdown over to Skewmon. What is the trade? Toots forcing Hans back into the fight. But Broken Blade is ready to jump into the back lines. But G2 has already lost 3. It's a 3-for-2 trade. And Furia comes out on top.
Yeah, Tatu dies, but Ayu's gliding on them. No one's threatening him on the Ashe.
Oh, here comes Gigo. He wants Hansama. He finds the collision into the Decimate. The volley fade away. And Ayu picks up kill 12 for Furia. Looking for maybe the opportunity here for a pull, but I would advise against it. Tatu jumping in, immediately decides he wants to go after Caps. Pop Blossom's going to stop it, but only for a moment. Caps is down. Jojo gets revenge. Now a Decimate from Gigo here on the front line keeps Labrov and Hansama zoned away. 13 kills in 18 minutes for the Brazilian team.
The gold lead keeps growing. Mid lane turret is going to fall. Herald soon as well. And with how this game has been playing out thus far,
They're trying to force it down with the extra power of the Kalista. Gigo and Tatu want to step up, want to try to stop it. Caps and Hans both here though. Furia coming in to try to stop this effort from G2, but the Herald has already been claimed by Skewmon. Now you got to look out. Beautiful pull coming out from LeBlanc to try to shut down Toots. A nice shutdown lands. Big three-man Seraphine ulti, but where's the follow-up? Nobody on G2 is dead. JoJo's forced to flash back over the wall, and G2, they get the Herald. They get a kill. They almost get Tatu, but now Broken Blade is still leading the charge. Furia continues to fight. The Decimate doesn't find the Renekton, and LeBron gets saved by Hans. Gigo's still frontlining as the rest of Furia runs away. Pop Blossom finds two. A lot of damage on Ayu, but he ain't dead yet. One dead on G2, two dead on G2, three dead on G2. Hans Sama versus the world, and the world means Brazil. Hans trying to kite it out, but Gigo won't allow it. Ace for Furia, Quadra for Gigo.
Actually ends up being big, and then you can just leave it at that, right? You got a bunch of cooldowns. Yes, you won't get Tatu, but it's not the end of the world. But instead, they keep going into this choke point, and Seraphine is one of those champions where if you get more rotations off, you end up sustaining so much. These small choke points are huge, as Gigo hasn't died yet, but maybe using his passive this time around.
That is a 1,000 gold shutdown. They have to give this to the right player. Skewmon will be the one to take it. Big shutdown for G2. That was a very fed Scion. That is a top lane that has Otacon that spawned only 1 minute ago. That is a G2 that still has the Herald in their inventory. And this is a big punch coming back from the LEC. After Furia had been dominating so far, it's Otacon for G2. They're going to slam the turret into the tier 2 turret at the top side at the same time. They should be able to get the gold from this. Ash Arrow collides, but it won't be enough. The turret's still barely hanging on, but the extra damage from the one Void Grub is enough to force it down. At the same time, mid lane tier 2s have been taken by Furia in the mid and bot lanes. Tatu trying to stop the backs, but he walks too close. LeBron with another beautiful pull, but the ulti over the top slows it down. Shut down over to Skewmon. Broken Blade in trouble. He's gonna die now as Skewmon tries to jump back over the wall, but Gigo's ready to chase. Make that 2 dead in G2 jerseys. LeBron and Hans on the run, but Gigo, Ayu, and JoJo are all ready to chase.
It really does. For G2, the upside is that with 2 dragons already, they're not at any threat just yet, as it's going to take a while to take them down. Reinforcements are on the way.
Yeah, Gigo's surviving for now. Got the redemption coming in to help him. Broken Blade now isolated. This is not where he wants to be. He's not going to buy nearly as much time as Gigo could, and that'll be another kill.
As G2 trying to look for a pick towards Nash, not actually going to find one, and obviously not having the opportunity to go for that objective themselves. Can go for a fake out, try and force a response out of Furia, but not going to go for that. Completely ridiculous, right? Because you can throw in, if you have the timing right, there's very little counterplay available as Lebrov.
Lebrov stunned up, saved now though by Hans Sama. Gigo looking to cut off the further escape route. Nice pull in from Lebrov, but a nice Seraphine ulti over the top guarantees the kill. And now that's 1 dead on the G2 side. Caps goes for the Pop Blossom, but a nice use of the stasis keeps Toots alive. Caps getting away now as Ayu goes on a rampage. Back end of a play that was just made.
The trigger was pulled.
Now. Yeah, we're already there as Furia will continue their march down mid lane. The first inhibitor turret is down. It is a 5v3. Furia is continuing to move forward. Remember, they already got the resources. Nexus turret's under fire. Furia going in. First Nexus turret about to die. Toots creating space. Broken Blade's got his Sterix, but he's staying alive for now. There's no more wave. Toots and Tatu both going to take the Hex Gate out. No ulti here on the Akali. Keep that in mind. Broken Blade taking a turret down there in the bottom lane at the same time. He's got a TP if he needs to join up. Here comes BB's TP right now as Furia is trying to put themselves in position. LeBron already missed the pull. Now you got Toots making space yet again. Going gold, buying time. Caps goes in. Massive Pop Blossom. 0 follow-up. Toots stays alive. JoJo with a Seraphine again. The team fight battery as LeBron will die to the fear tether and Furia is marching down mid.
It's happening, Flowers!
Furia with the push. They got to make sure they try to interrupt these backs, though. Tatu, he'll stop Skewmon for now. Where's the wave? Hans is cutting it. G2 keeping themselves alive with this.
Just do Nash.
Nice
Just do
arrow.
Nash. It's fine.
Okay, we're not done with the game here just yet. Hans bought time. They've got Gigo with so much HP. They'll pop the paranoia as Broken Blade tries to cut the wave. Furia want to force the end of the game right now. Redemption comes down. Broken Blade tries to find pressure under the back line, but he won't get it. The Lax Nessus turret still barely standing. Caps goes in for another pop blossom, but he will not get it. Ladies and gentlemen, in the first series of MSI 2025, we are going to Silver Scrapes.
Because one of the things that you can do against Ziggs is obviously try and look for ways to get on them early, try to shut them out of the game. But with Braum Sana, there's just no shot that that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's not a ton of immediate aggressive threat there. Everything can technically be avoided.
Yeah, there's also the value of Mercs, kind of counterintuitively towards Gragas, because his E feels like it should be a knock-up, but it's also kind of not. Mercs does in fact reduce.
Oh, nice flash out from Hans. He's in danger though. Jojo and IU continuing to try to put the pressure on. Seeing it played there with the max range. First blood over to Furia. Finally, after 5 games, the first blood isn't in top lane, and it's a 2v2 kill from Jojo and IU. Toots versus Caps back in the mid lane at the same time. Toots wants to clear the wave, but he may have overstayed. He'll step back now, wants to get that last auto attack. Caps, though, with a Q3 primed, dashes in for the knockup, and Caps gets the solo kill. He punishes Toots' greed. Skewmon stealing away some chickens now as Toots is going to walk up and see this. He is only about 2/3 HP though. Immediately activates the electric field. Skewmon getting back away as Caps goes in, but Jojo's ready to cover. Toots goes to the skies, flashes back over the wall to get away. Jojo also dropping the exhaust there. Toots playing really aggressively, very dangerously. Nearly gives over another kill yet again as Caps' Yone is keeping the pressure on. Jojo goes in with him, goes in after him with the Zenith Blade, but there's no way to follow up there for Toots. Meanwhile, Skewmon getting it done up in the top side. Caps is burning down to the Ignite in mid lane, but he survives.
Absorbing pressure. Found the solo bolo. Not threatened as, IU doesn't have flash.
IU could be in some serious trouble here. LeBron and Hans putting the damage into him. Nice use of the root there. Yes, IU trades back as good as he can, but he doesn't hit the satchel, and G2 gets paid. Feet of Warfare claimed by Hans Sama and LeBron.
One of the most important members, particularly Caps and Hans Sama. Those kills are very valuable, as we do see Tatu, obviously Lilia, very good at taking these grubs. Will be getting them in addition to the early dragon. And this is also one of those compositions where if it goes late as Furia, I think you're not bothered whatsoever, particularly with the Gnar in the side lane, and that matchup I think is going to get more and more rough.
But now back up here in the top side, fully completed Mercury Treads. Again, I think that boots are just so valuable against Gragas specifically. I like this choice. Now immediately the fight over the Scuttle Crab. Tatu finds a 2-man watch out E, but G2 brought more men. Caps goes right back in for a little bit more damage. Tatu flashing away. He's alive with a Mega Inferno Bomb firing back from Furia. Tatu still escaping. G2 still trying to fight. Skewmon wants to get away, but the bowling ball doesn't find the mark. Now Toots has to continue his retreat as Jojo is trapped inside the Cataclysm, and Skewmon is locking him up. Furia loses out on the fight. G2 makes their move. They secure the kill, and they steal away the enemy jungle. Has that X factor, and I want to see if he can pull it off here in this one and bring G2 the win, as Furia now looking to step up and try to contest here for the Drake, but G2's ready to respond. Jojo's gonna get locked up here at the very start. He should die before anything else even happens. Nice solar flare comes down over the top as LeBron is finally gonna be traded back, but Furia have already lost 2.
As meanwhile, Gigo towards the top side of the map has to flash.
G2's not going to get the kill they're looking for, but if nothing else, Chronicler, it was a beautiful distraction, because meanwhile, Skewmon and Caps are going after the Rift Herald. Jojo is there for some reason. He flashes over the wall to stay alive, trying to escape the dawning shadow, but Hans Sama dials it in.
Hans does find him in the end. with the ultimate.
Same thing. Remember, we saw JoJo try a similar play earlier using the Unsealed Spellbook to go top to look for a dive on Broken Blade, but then Broken Blade did a good job stopping it. This time around, Labrov going up top, looking to stop things himself.
What?
As Broken Blade, how did he get here? He's immediately just destroyed by Gigo, as now G2 wants to try to show up, salvage this a little bit here. A little bit more damage would be able to kill the last remaining HP on that tier 1 turret. Gigo about to lose his Mega Gnar. He reverts to Mini as soon as the fight starts. Gigo's about to die here in the very beginning. Hansama's already got the kill. Caps with a massive fate sealed. And Furia is cut to ribbons. Double kill, Hansama.
And Furia just walks into the waiting arms of G2 and says, thank you very much. They were so ready for this. Mega Gnar was about to time out. Half the team wasn't there, and still they commit. Then G2, that like 1.5K gold lead range, it's nice. I don't think it's enough, but now I think bot lane turret is going to fall.
Yeah, no way for Furia to try to contest this one. You can see nobody's even on this half of the map.
I mean, they go for the cross map. They know, right?
Yeah,
Even if they're there.
It's like you can't fight this. Look at Caps' inventory. He has the powered up Berserker Greaves. He has the Immortal Shield Bow. He has Blade of the Ruined King. He's got a 3-0-5 scoreline on this Yone. There is no way you are getting anywhere near this. Skewmond also on the Jarvan in the bottom lane. Yes, the Seraphs is fully evolved, but also the Leandries now completed for IU. So if Furia wants a chance, they might have it, but not if Gigo does that. Walks right into an unwarded brush, and Gigo gets dunked right into the ground. Skewmond's happy to send him there, as immediately the Solar Flare and the Mega Inferno Bomb are completely wasted.
Winter, he has Flash.
He's hard to kill, man.
He is hard to kill. Yeah, Cosmic Drive as well. Even if they do, you get slow point. I don't think you really care.
Yeah, Caps is here to immediately turn it around. Toots is already dead. Tatu's about to join him. Caps goes on a rampage and goes right back to farming, while Skewmon brings G2 to soul point.
Baron attempt, I don't really feel too worried about. And this is where I think the Senna value really does shine through. You have, obviously, with the Yone, a lot of damage, can very quickly chew for that big health bar, but you also stay very healthy. And trying to engage into a Braum and Gragas.
Really maxed out there for Hansama and Skewmond as well. Honestly, if Furia can get the shutdowns, it would be nice. But the fact that they're as high as they are means it's probably not likely. G2 grabbing one, forcing the flash out of Toots as he barely manages to escape. And G2 are just going to knock down this tier 2 turret up here in the top lane. We have finally hit 25 minutes on the clock. Baron Nashor is alive. Bottom lane at the same time.
Right,
does have his teleport to join. Everybody on Furia going for maybe their last chance gambit here at the Baron pit. Gigo gets locked up again, though. Immediate problem as the Mini Gnar is down. Caps unstoppable. Skewmon chasing after IU, who immediately flashes out of the Cataclysm. Broken Blade, nicely placed ulti, knocks Toots right back into the waiting arms of G2, and IU is not going to escape with the kill onto the Ziggs. G2 knows they won this fight.
And that's Baron for G2. Furia just don't have anything that they can do. G2, one step ahead of them. The vision is there. They're not going to give the opportunity for a Zig steal. They're not going to let Tatu anywhere near, knowing that if they play this out cleanly, there's just nothing that they can do. Broken Blade sets them up. Skewmon, these ultimates have been such a big issue for Furia. He can go in on any play, and he really has. So Rebel Baron Power Blade comes through.
Soul you mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like that's about to rear its head here as well, as now we've got G2 with a Baron for the next 2 minutes, with Soul for the rest of the game, with a 12,000 gold lead, and with Baroned up minions ready to collide into the Furia base. This is the absolute most dire possible situation for Furia as they scramble to try to defend. Center route there onto Gigo, again in Mini Gnar, just never finding the right timings on the Mega Gnar to really have an effect on these fights early on. And now we're so far past that, G2's just kind of playing the game however they want to play it.
You can see it as well, right? You can feel the difference. The way Caps is playing on this Yone, just going in, getting cooldowns, popping back out again.
Yeah.
He's not afraid at all, starting with a solo kill.
Right back in there, it's Toots having a flash out of the Cataclysm, and Tatu's already down on Sama, grabbing the kill as Caps continues diving forward, godlike with the kill on his lane opponent yet again. Gigo trying to escape. The Mega Gnar's on the run, but Skewmon's on the hunt. Broken Blade throws out an ulti, but it will not knock anybody back. It will not matter either. G2 on the game-ending push now. They've made their way to the Nexus turrets. Furia, only 3 men standing, can do nothing to resist the onslaught as G2 are gonna pad their stats one last time in Game 5 as they make their way onto the Nexus. It was a brutal battle start to finish, but G2 win Game 5 and the first series of MSI 2025.
Whereas I think, you know, here for Knight on this Talia, if he can get pushed, he's going to be happy to try to attack those side lanes. Obviously, the skirmish power really high, like you were talking about. He's going to stay, though. He elects to stay because Poppy is coming. So they're going to try to make a play very, very quickly here. Elk is trying to keep his wave from crashing, but GAM have no wards, and Beishuan is going to be behind them. They're about to get the bad news here. Flash combo from On, perfectly engaged. They're going for Elio. They flash forward. Artemis trying to finish him off. He grabs first blood. They're looking for another one. Elk's in trouble. It's a double for Artemis, and it's GAM time already, but Beishuan looking to get him back. Flash to follow, gets a double, is able to trade evenly. He's stronger than Levi right now.
For sure. Keeping my eyes on Knight, as with the level 7, he does have the ulti available. Beishuan runs into Levi.
Yeah, Levi's going to go forward, and they're going to try to knock him back. Remember, no flash available here on Beishuan. He is running Artemis over the wall, looking to try to take him down. Will he be able to do it? On's in the midst of everyone. Levi has to flash out. It's On now that is in trouble. He is off, and Elio trying to survive. Knight can't quite make it happen. Elk is in trouble now. Beautiful cleanse. That was picture perfect from Elk to keep himself alive. Knight, though, going to be hooked in. He is able to get one, but he's going to fall for it at the end of the day. Levi limping out of there. Very close fight, but it is 2 for 1 at GAM at the end of the day.
Brawl, but the positioning of the wall I think is more favorable for GAM because both Emo and Artemis are very safe. Artemis moves up to force Knight out of the fight.
Get 2 of the grubs. You can see GAM does take 1 for their trouble, so at least you're not going to be giving the Void Might spawn away. But Elio and Levi just grouping up here, heading over to look for a dive on Elk. Remember, there is no cleanse available. He doesn't have his flash for another couple seconds, and he is in so much trouble. There is the hook, and there is the kill. It's another one in the pockets of Artemis. 4 kills in 9 minutes for the GAM bot laner.
It's a beautiful dive. No mistakes, well executed. There was little that Elk could do to respond. And GAM are continuing to find advantages. Now, the gold lead, not insurmountable. BLG still, of course, have ways to come back into this game. A defensive kind of frontlining tanky build.
And I actually really like this because I do think when you are not solo AP, it's not worth it. There's the flash, and it's going to connect, and the Chains of Corruption is there as well. GAM, it's surprise! They jump over the wall. They take him down. Kiaya gets the kill on Bin. These matchups is about forcing Abessa to use the spells to close the gap, not allowing her to begin trades with those spells. As Kiaya again overheats, and this time Bin is going to be in a lot of trouble. The equalizer is ready. He just hit 11. I think Bin, it's time to get cooked. There's the equalizer, turns around with the public execution, does proc the Eclipse Shield, trying to run for the hills, but it's just not enough. Kiaya will not allow him to escape. Not disrespect Knight and Bin and Elk and all. These guys have been here so many times before, but there's a fight breaking out. Elio could be in trouble. The seismic jump does connect onto Levi, but he is tanky enough to survive. Bin arrives with a TP, so does Kiaya. Remember, Kiaya has no ultimate. Emo hitting on the side, trying to get them low. You can see the ultimate coming out from Jin as well. On flashes forward. There's the flash from Beishuan, sending Kiaya into the wall. He's overheated and he is shut down, and now Emo's in trouble as well. Just like that, BLG roar to life. Take 3 kills and the dragon.
The snap engage from BLG was ruthless. They isolate the support. They make sure that they have a numbers advantage. He can't get involved in the fight, and it just becomes pick after pick after pick. And what was a 2K gold lead for GAM disappears in a single fight.
Yeah, it's just being able to find these small windows, punishing your opponents. It was, I mean, Levi's got to get up here. Otherwise, they're going to lose the tower, I think, on this wave. Kiaya needs help to defend it, but Knight is pushing forward. Kiaya trying to keep it alive. They are racing for it. Bin on the other side does pop the ulti. Elio tanking up the tower as much as he possibly can. Kiaya about to overheat, trying to run for it. As Beishuan's coming in, there's On arriving as well. Going to pop the ulti to try to tank up the tower. Bin is in trouble. Emo's making it happen. There's the public execution. Trying to take down Elio. He does. He's in the 1v2. Can he make it happen? The shield, the double. It's Bin, and he is back.
Beautiful play from Bin, leveraging the tower aggro to punish the 2v1 dive. BLG will also get the top tower. and very quickly the momentum is shifting. It's the double kill.
I mean, that was just so beautifully played. Small thing there. Bin goes for the backstep, pulling Emo away. As his W comes back up, he has the shield, he has the Eclipse shield. He is just making it happen, man. And that is the thing about this guy. You know, say all you want about an inconsistent year, but he is on fire so far. And now Artemis in a lot of trouble. Is going to flash out, but it is not going to get him anywhere. Elio could be next to fall. The equalizer is going to use from Kiaya, but not to much effect whatsoever. And in comes Beishuan in the Herald. They're just going to let it crash into the tower. The tower is incredibly low. On is looking for the dive here. Emo trying to push them back, but they're really struggling to do so. Hook's going to go wide there from Elio. Now the ulti does come out, but Kiaya has already fallen. BLG are running away with it out of nowhere.
BLG do not hesitate to punish a mistake. The moment that you overstep, they capitalize. And look, they're even fishing for more. Knight's trying to hover off in the fog of war. He will be spotted out, but this tower is surely going to fall. And BLG, with the small advantage that they were able to find in the earlier skirmishes, they are mounting a massive gold lead. 3.3k now the advantage. A mid tower secured.
4,371 from minions and so on. As there's Bin going in again, it's going to be another kill here. As Artemis, great start, but he is getting caught and he is getting punished once again.
I feel like GAM is just being drawn into the fight. Rather than looking for cross maps or looking for advantages elsewhere on the map, they're just constantly trying to trade with BLG, and BLG are getting the better of them. Now Knight once again throws the ulti out to catch this mid wave and look for a pick.
Yep, you are not allowed to trade. They're saying you cannot take that tower. Levi tried to get down there and see if he could fight over Otacon. Does proc the phase rush, but he's got no flash, and I think he's going to get chased down. There's the flash in from On. Bin and 3 members of BLG will knock down Levi once again. He wanted to get there, see if he can make a hero play at the Otacon, but he loses his life, and it's just going to be a dragon as well off the back of that. As BLG are just taking everything. They're farming your jungle, they're defending their mid tower, they're taking Otacon, killing your jungler, and then getting the dragon.
It was a promising start for GAM. Some really awesome plays from so many members, but BLG, they are the classic. You give them a finger and they'll take the whole arm. The moment that you give them a semblance of an advantage, I know.
Not really any wards in the area for GAM. You can see that Elio is trying to get over there and trying to reestablish some vision control. Bin here getting chased down by Kiaya. The rest of the team is coming in. We'll see if they can find him. Remember, he has no flash. The equalizer is there to slow, and in comes Levi. Public execution going to be used, and he is just trying to waste their time as BLG on the other side of the map are looking for a play. They do get the shutdown, but again, it costs them the equalizer. That should be up, though, before the dragon does spawn here, as BLG looking to pressure some towers.
Good news is that the wave was quite far away, but Emo needs to be very careful. He's going to respect the collapse from Beishuan, and this tower is going to fall. I would say that the risk of using those ultimates is limited, and Elk is doing a good job of controlling that mid wave. On threatening the engage.
Very stacked as On's going to go in, and Bin is here to support. On in a lot of trouble, but he is going to survive as he flashes out, and the Nautilus falls on the other side. Kiaya running for the hills here. He's going to have to flash out that public execution, but Kiaya does barely survive the 4-shot. Goes into the stasis, but he has got nowhere to go, and Beishuan finds another stun there onto the Nautilus looking for him. They do knock down a 3rd member from GAM, and it feels like just like that, the fight is already done.
Situation, and then the rest of BLG chase down GAM. A very awkward situation for GAM to find themselves in. They did not get the optimal setup, and they end up falling short. It once again splits up GAM and makes the fight easier.
Oh, we're back to live. Elio tries to flash out, hooks to the wall, but he's just dead. And Beishuan wants even more. Knight's positioning has been a thing of beauty. Every ult that you're talking about, Betty, seems to be perfectly placed. And now Kiaya in a world of hurt down here. Bin with the double buffs, with the Ocean Soul. He does not care about your poke any longer.
I mean, it really has been a beautiful game from Knight, kind of the silent carry in a sense, but we've seen it in every single play. His use of the Talia wall has just been flawless.
Yeah, and GAM now trying to see, can they find a way in to try to seal away this Baron? Teleport coming out there from Kiaya, but here comes Knight one more time. Beishuan and Bin trying to push their way in. Artemis is left out to the wolves, and he's going to get bit in half as Beishuan pushing back the jungler. He's 3 levels up. Emo's dead as well, as they're just trying to look to try to end the game right here, right now. They get a 3rd, and they are on the march now. The wave is going to be coming in. They're not heading to the Baron, so they just want to try to close it out.
BLG with ruthless execution on the team fight. There is little room for GAM to react. They execute, they destroy, and they capitalize. BLG setting their sights on the Nexus.
It's Levi and Elio versus the entire team, but with the Ocean Soul, they don't have the damage to stop them. We'll see if they can clear out the wave, find a miracle play, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Elio falling as well as Elk goes dominating. It's 20-8. It's a 10,000 gold lead. It's 29 minutes into the game, and BLG just padding the stats, trying to get more kills here on the doors to the fountain as Artemis is gonna respawn just to die one last time. It's an ace again for BLG as Emo's now respawning. They want another kill. Mercy, cries GAM as BLG takes game number 1.
BLG's comp is a really scary composition to play against. I think that GAM's composition wants to do a few too many things. You've got solid dive coming through from the Ahri plus the Vi. Rakan follow-up seems good on paper. Beishwan can look to put a lot of pressure on this bot lane 2 versus 2. It provides a lot of safety for Elk and On. And also some much-needed revenge after what happened in Game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Elio is going to get pushed back here. There's a flash in from Ana. It's a level 1 support, and he's got nowhere to go, and Elk snipes him for first blood.
I mean, that was just exquisite from On. He flash engages, ticks over to level 2 at just the right time, and he catches Elio completely off guard. Now, Levi looking for a response.
Yeah, this kind of has to work here for GAM, but Kiaya is getting incredibly low. Will he just get knocked down by Bin? Bin trying to take him out in that 1v2. Will he be able to do it? Bin now trying to kite back, waiting for the Qs. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. GAM get their response kill. This Dragon is on, going to threaten with a Hex Flash there. Beishwan does arrive to try to back up the rest of the team, and they are looking here. The Charm does connect onto Knight, and there is the Q to follow. Knight gets 6, but it just doesn't matter. It's too little, it's too late. They get the kill on the LPL mid laner.
Nicely done. We wanted to see some mid lane investment from GAM, and the first gank
On level 6.
simply is Dragon looking to be secured by BLG as the swap is coming through now from GAM. The rotation into the mid lane from Elio. Working with Levi, something that we continue to see, this combination of the jungle plus support. Artemis, I think he was able to sidestep the vision there. Oh, doesn't matter. He's just going to make his presence known as the Scion looking to TP towards the bot side of the map. Dragon secured. Really did step up in the playoffs, and they were able to showcase a lot of improvements after so many of the struggles that they ran into with the jungle changes, the coaching staff struggles. They were able to find their footing and make their way back here to MSI.
Absolutely, and it also speaks to the incredibly high standards that are set for a team like BLG. When you talk about expectations, and people are saying, they're not looking as strong, they're not as consistent. Well, they got second in the LPL, and they kind of, crushed in playoffs for a lot of it, except against AL.
I'm completely off guard, and we'll see if GAM can find their footing in the fights. Has been continues to trade in the 1v1 against Kiaya. Kiaya's doing very good in the 1v1.
Both junglers are here, though. You can actually see the jungle pet moved into that. So Beishwan is here, as is Levi, and Bin is going to get the bad news. They go first, and they grab the kill.
A quick collapse from Levi. Trinity Force completed for him as the second Dragon has started off. It's going to be a very difficult one for GAM to really contest because of how much time Levi spent on the top side of the map. So BLG quickly stacking up these Dragons.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a 23, 24-minute soul, if I recall. Beishwan and On now are going to be in the area. On spotted on the ward is Artemis trying to get that tower down. Can't quite finish it off. Levi's going to go in. Here's Beishwan. He gets the bad news as On is trying to turn this fight around. Bin now on the backside, going to get buster shot out by Artemis. Artemis trying to get the work done as the TP's going to be coming in as well. GAM is fully committing to this. Eris in trouble on the side, though, as he's going to get the charm down on the Knight, but Knight gets a stun of his own, and he's chasing after Eris. Eris has to flash as Elk is now flanking them on the Ezreal. He goes in and he gets the shutdown, flashes out to safety as well. Another TP coming in, but now Kiaya wants nothing to do with this. He's going to hold out to safety, and it's Artemis that's kind of lagging behind here. Kiaya stopping to try to peel, make sure they cannot catch up to that Tristana, but that means the mid lane tier 1 is going to be completely exposed.
The response from BLG meant that GAM had few options. It felt like GAM was just kind of trickling in one by one, whereas BLG was already a unit, much faster. Tested them, BLG responded in kind. The double TPs came through from both mid laners, and Ahri TPing in that situation is just way more favorable for the Annie. It's so much easier for her to drop her combo. Eris was forced out of the fight immediately. But reminder that Levi still gets the Herald.
Oh, they want this dive. There's Tibbers coming down. The CC chain is going to be enough. Eris going to get smote down by Beishwan. We'll be able to limp out to safety. looking for a potential flank. Ultimate's ready for pretty much everyone. Knight's going to be up in a couple seconds as Kiaya, fishing, will hit some damage down here on to on. But it's going to be about the engage. And if GAM will allow BLG to get in here, they're going to go, and they're looking for the engage. It's Eris that's caught, and it's Eris that's killed by Knight, but in the back line, it's Levi trying to turn things around, trying to beat down Knight, but he can't do it. Elio just trying to peel off Beishuan as Knight finally gets killed by Kiaya, but he's knocked down as well. Levi on the run. The bot lane is scattered. GAM are running for the hills, but BLG do not want to let them get away here. They're trying to find one more bit of CC. The Vault Breaker will get Levi out to safety as GAM's bot lane immediately runs mid, trying to take a tower here, but that means it is going to be feats of strength going to BLG with this dragon as well as the soul point.
On is just exceptional. The small positioning mistake from Eris. You want to try and defend.
Yeah, On threatening with the Hex Flash there, but Kiaya is stepping forward. He does pick up the tower aggro. Has to be a little bit careful. He's just tanking that tower. The tower's not getting knocked down. The target is not being focused. We can see TP coming in here from Knight. Is he going to arrive in time? Beishuan going to get knocked down. On's in trouble next, but Kiaya has fallen as well. And Knight arrives just to get knocked down. It's a good fight for GAM. They are chasing after them. The resets are coming through. Levi kills Bin. They knock down 3.
Tension continues to mount as Beishuan trying to find an angle in. Elio acting as the gatekeeper for now.
It is getting low. It's going to be a smite fight potentially. We'll see if Beishuan can get in. He can't. It is down to 2K, and they're trying to turn on to Beishuan. They get the kill on to Beishuan. Eris is the one who picks it up. Kiaya trying to tank through this, but the junglers are dead on both sides, and now it's just a total flip, and it's going to be grabbed here, and it looks like it went to BLG. They steal it away, and it's Knight who gets the last hit.
Nothing short of a scrap as it turns into a front-to-back between the two teams. I thought that with Beishuan getting one shot at the start, it was going to be a guaranteed fight for GAM, but BLG did not hesitate. They did not slow down.
Elio, as he had spellbooked over to it, now swapping back to another summoner. Kiaya taking some damage, is going to get Shattering Struck and stunned up, but will be okay. Still losing about 30% of your health before that fight. Not what you want to have happen. Oh, he's actually going to look for the engage. He's looking for a Knight here. Elk just shifts out of the way, though, and Kiaya is now the one in trouble. Eris trying to get some damage down on Beishuan. He can't actually connect much. Elio has got to run. So does Kiaya, and GAM are getting crushed. On flashes in. Artemis flashes out. Artemis trying to turn the damage around. As Artemis gets a kill, he gets a shutdown. It's Bin now trying to take the damage in the front line. It's going to be another kill for Artemis as he jumps forward. He's looking for Elk, but he can't close the gap. BLG turn on him. It's a double for Bin. It's Kiaya knocked down. It's the ace and the triple for Bin, and it's going to be Mountain Soul as well.
It's chaos in the mid lane.
It's a good try there from GAM. They tried to get very aggressive, but the amount of damage they took early on in that fight really did feel like it kind of swung it. Elio and Kiaya ate so much free damage early on. Even with Artemis and Eris finding angles to try to get in, to try to play it aggressive, it was very tough.
I mean, we're going to check out the MasterCard priceless moment of the game.
Wait for that to spawn. They are pushing the pace. They are already here on to Baron. And look at the positioning from Knight and on opposite sides. They could look for the snap engage. Knight going to get spotted, but Levi's already in trouble. And Levi's going to get jumped on by Beishuan. Here comes Bin. And there goes Levi. He is down already. Eris trying to get one back, is able to do so as they trade the junglers back and forth. Kiaya is in the middle of everyone, but he is not going to be living for long. Elk is on a rampage, and GAM is on the run, trying to get out of here. But Bin connects. It's going to be a rocket jump back from Artemis here as Knight is just pushing forward, going to get knocked up. They're trying to make the turn happen. Do they have the damage to do it? It does not look like it. There's a great buster shot from Artemis, but it is not going to be enough. He doesn't have another rocket jump. He doesn't have another reset, and he doesn't have a way out. Eris now next to fall. He is running, and he has got nowhere to go. Elk goes unstoppable. BLG take another big win.
From Baron to bot lane, BLG hunt down the kills.
GAM have got to try to do it all over again. Kiaya is body, has his TP, and he is coming, but it feels like it's too little. It feels like it's too late. Levi not even there yet, and the Baron is already gone, and now all GAM can do is just try to run. On goes for the crash down, looking for Eris. He is going to be able to land the charm as Kiaya trying to create some space for the rest of his team to get out, but Elk is going in. Elk is going aggressive as always onto Eris. He's going to be able to ult over the wall to safety.
This tier 2 tower going to be a difficult one to defend for GAM.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough, especially when they saw two members from GAM mid lane very recently. It looks like GAM are sending 3 towards Bin. I think they're trying to see, is there an opportunity here for a pick? But Bin is playing respectfully. He is just going to back it up while the rest of his team pushes in here, and Kiaya is getting hammered by Elk right now. This inhibitor tower is going to be under fire now. BLG 4 members strong through this top lane. Bin escorting in that Baroned up minion wave mid lane as well. And the siege is going to begin in earnest.
GAM may look for a pick onto Bin, the isolated member, perhaps if they can find that kill. leverage the numbers advantage, but BLG, their siege is relentless. First tower will fall, and now they've gained access into the base. The inhibitor soon to follow.
Yeah, and it's perfectly synced up. The mid lane wave is there right as the top lane inhibitor does fall. And they are going to be moving over and knocking down this one. If GAM's not going to fight for the tower, they're not going to fight for the inhibitor, so it is just one of these options. They sit back, they turtle up, they try to defend the Nexus. That is going to be the call here.
But the amount of damage that Elk has been doing in this game has been monstrous.
Absolutely has, and Knight just completed the Shadow Flame. They took that late base, though, so this gives GAM the opportunity to start this one up. The question is, can they actually finish in time? Eris on the side, going to be able to try to look for a chunk on a base one. Can't actually connect with the Charm, unfortunately. Kiaya is just getting crushed. There's the flash forward by Elio, but there's no one there to follow it up. GAM spend everything to go into the back line there. They lose two, and it feels like they don't even dent the health bars, and now Gigabin wants to get involved in the action. Levi popping his ult over onto him, but Artemis just can't move the health bars. Levi trying to survive. Artemis is down. Eris trying to get one back, but he can't even get that. BLG will not allow him to get a kill. It's a double on the other side there from Elf as Bin catches up and does what he does. He knocks him down. BLG are going to be moving for the Nexus here, taking this second game. It's 22-11, a 10,000 gold lead as BLG are making no doubt about it. A clean ace at the Elder Dragon is what will spend the end of this one. BLG are going to be taking us all the way to match point.
I mean, it is relatively safe on the top side of the map, but it seems that GAM have gone for a little bit more reserved in the mid lane matchup, going for that scaling control mage in the form of the Victor.
I mean, every time you talk about spicy counter picks in top laners are just like, top lane. And meanwhile, GAM's bot lane, it's a level 3 and a level 3 against 2 level 1s here. GAM is in so much trouble. Beishuan chasing after him, grabs first blood as On walks it out. Now they're looking for the redive here. In goes Beishuan. Elk tanks it up. It's a 2-for-0 on the bot side. 3 minutes in. The time to just flash right out, and now that is time wasted there. Beishuan's going to be down on this bot side, will catch Levi, and Levi now has no flag. You can see he did spend that spell. GAM's bot lane again going to try to help out in the jungle, but here comes BLG, and mid lane Prio is also going the way of BLG. Now they're looking to try to chase after Beishuan. We'll see if they can find and engage. Elio in a lot of trouble, does have to flash out. Artemis trying to get some damage down on the Beishuan, but it's Levi now who is in trouble. Levi flag and drag over the wall. Will he be able to survive? He gets trapped up, and he gets hit by the headshot, and another one, 2 to the head. Knock Levi down.
Connects the E as well to get another headshot. Just beautifully done. And this is just systematic destruction.
I mean, what more can you ask? It's just perfectly played right there, just nailing it. Now Bin level 6 looking for the kill on a Kiaya. Kiaya incredibly low. Bin trying to work his way out of this cage. Kiaya going back forward. Should have mana for a Q, but Bin is about to have his Q. He's going to flash forward. The Q heal does come through. The ulti from Kiaya trying to finish him off. The Maiden, though, doesn't quite have the damage, and now Bin's cooldowns are coming back up. He's going to flash in, slice, dice, stun, and he knocks him down with the Ruthless Predator. That's what Bin is. The Shun roll than the Wei roll. You know, he has been kind of more that facilitative jungler, playing for the lanes, and has been quite good at it. You know, helped the team to get here, and Artemis now in trouble. Gonna have to flash out as almost gets knocked down there by Knight. They try to move the MF mid lane, try to find somewhere where he could safely farm. Nothing doing.
Yeah, I feel like the Beishuan has fit into the mold that BLG needs, and this game is a great example of that. He's played towards the lanes very well.
If you're winning, whether you're losing, you're kind of running down the side lane. Like, that's kind of what the champion does, how it functions. Eris in the side lane now might get some bad news. Has been posturing very aggressively. Is someone behind him? Yes, of course. Knight is there. The BLG soul laners looking to group up, and Eris knows he is dead, so he's just going to knock down the wave, accept his fate. Knight is on the board in game 3. At this point, they're going to have to be some bigger mistakes. They're going to have to, like, sub-Vedius in on Nocturne or something like that, you know?
I mean, their chances would only go up if they did that. I'll tell you that right now.
All right, well, we'll see how their chances are going to be here as they're going to let the Bolt Time Rip trying to clear out the wave, and he is just gone. It's a magic trick. Now you see him, now you don't. Elio going to get chased down as well. Is still barely alive. The last auto will finish him.
Yaya has the Maiden back out. Level down against Bin. A 1.1k gold difference between the two top laners.
Be able to keep his farm going well. Yes, he did get picked off in the side lane well, but honestly, his 1v1 was going completely fine there against Knight. But Knight now is going to be out on the map, and Elio just finds out the bad news. That is not your jungle, my friend. BLG has laid their claim on it. Levi is moving down here, but I don't know if he can actually get there in time to really do anything. There's 3 members, and it's going to be Bin fighting on the top side. We can see the dive going off on the bot side. The first kill is already there. Kiaya trying to run. Levi came in, but he couldn't do anything. Now he's going to get trapped up. Kiaya will be able to survive. Loses the maiden, though, in the process, and Eris is going to move down here. They're going to look to try to make a fight happen. It's a triple knockup from Levi. The Chaos Storm comes through. They do get 1 kill. In comes Elio. They're trying to get another, but they just don't have the damage to knock down Beishuan. He is healing up. He's getting shielded, and he's going to re-engage with the Sundered Sky. Trying to go for more here. He will have to try to kite it out, though. Eris looking here with the laser. Does connect. Gets the shutdown. GAM getting their first kills in this game. Very difficult. You know, when these kind of drain tanky bruisers get ahead, it is so hard to be able to actually knock them down. You know, you're losing on the bot side. You're trying to make a play happen there. And I think it was a pretty good play to look for, as Artemis, of course, will survive that ultimate, but does get pushed back, and this tower is not long for the world.
Still have confidence that they're going to be looking for plays where they can. The biggest issue that they have is their windows of opportunity.
The objective bounties have already spawned here 15 minutes in. That really does tell the tale. We'll see if they can find anything, but it's not looking like it, as the feats obviously have long since gone over there to BLG. They're going to be able to grab the Rift Herald as well, which could be problematic. Levi going in, as Elk is going to be able to 90 caliber net over the wall. There's the root coming through, and now Beishuan does arrive. That's an easy kill there onto Levi. Tried to look for an angle, but Elk doesn't really have to use much of anything.
The chain CC with this Karma Caitlyn is just brutal. The Jarvan barely getting an opportunity to move. Kiaya forced to retreat.
Yeah, Kiaya going to run for it, drops the cage defensively, but will be knocked up and will be tethered. Nice little CCG in there, as On is going to take up the tower for Beishuan. Beishuan trying to knock him down. Kiaya flashes to the side, tries to get the heal from the shovel, but it's not enough. Does fall, gets one back at the very least, but they lost the tower at the same time. And now Elio trying to make something happen here with the Pop Blossom. Will he be able to get a kill? Does get the 600 gold shutdown, and now Bin popping the ulti, forces the flash out there from Elio.
Exposed. This will put them on soul point. And I mean, BLG, I think this is their 11th dragon in a row. Like, it's just been soul 3 times back to back, right?
That's tough.
And BLG with just nothing but a masterclass in terms of objective control.
Since cashed out, and they're going to look for one of these side lane tier 2s. A big prize to take, as Beishuan will just ride this one in for the crash, and that tower is going to be gone for sure. Now it's 8,000 gold in the lead, and he's just going to ride into the next tower as well. Will he go towards mid lane? Sees a lot of GAM members. He's just going to drive for the tier 2 there. Gets that incredibly low. Does get knocked back towards the GAM side, and there's some slows coming through from Artemis, but it's just not even going to matter as Levi's going in for Elk. Nice flash out there from Elk. Does get him to safety from the flag and drag. Kiaya in the area, has the maiden back once again, and Eris arrives with the teleport. You can see Bin in the bot lane has TP'd in as well, as Beishuan trying to look for something here. Beishuan is just going aggressive. Elk knocks down Artemis. Bin is chasing after Eris with Knight. Eris is in a world of hurt, and he gets knocked down as Knight goes on a rampage. Kiaya trying to get back into the base, but he's got nowhere to go. He's rooted up, and he's knocked down as well. It's Elio and Levi against the world. PLG not afraid of this whatsoever. They're chasing into the base. It is 19 minutes, and nowhere is safe on the map for GAM.
BLG dominate GAM as they just take control over everything. GAM is left wanting as Levi has to witness the destruction of his base. They will leave the inhibitor up. It is still very early into the game.
I'm going to teleport down. They are going to look to try to make a stand at this objective. See if they can get some kills. See if they can get an objective bounty, but it is getting incredibly low. As Elio going to go in, finds a multi-man engage. Into the backline goes Levi. There's the ulti coming down. The bullet time does get the kill onto Elk. Artemis trying to get the damage rolling, but it's Knight now going forward, looking for Artemis. Gets the 2-volt hex and knocks him down. It's Bin, meanwhile, kills another one. We've seen this one before. Eris is going to run for the hills, as is Elio, but On is chasing him, trying to juke with the clone. It just doesn't even matter. BLG winning another fight.
Furia, which I'm expecting to be a very interesting matchup, especially with what Furia showed us today, and GAM showing us some great moments in this series against BLG. Right now, though,
oh my God.
Okay, there's stack number 25 for Knight. I mean, it was on the support, but my goodness.
Knight showing what you can do when you get ahead. He's going between the worlds, looking for Artemis. The barrier almost gets one shot through it, but Knight is in trouble, and Knight is going to lose some stacks here. Some pages getting torn out of the book. but I don't think Kiaya can get anything more. Knight feeling himself, wanted to just one-shot him under the tower in front of his team, couldn't make it happen.
That was way too cocky from Knight. I mean, oh my goodness. And I think the downside for him is we're going to get a MasterCard priceless moment of the game. We're going to see the one-shot again, and we're also going to see his overextension. Actually make a mistake here. I mean,
they might only be 10k down if they make a mistake here.
That's quite right. I mean, the worst case scenario for BLG is 2 members die, GAM have 5 members, and then they can contest the Baron. But even in 3 versus 5, I feel like BLG could still win.
Yeah, so definitely scary. Oh, and look at Knight. He's sitting on that blast cone. If he finds an angle, we know he wants to go for it.
I mean, he's got to fill the pages of the book back up.
He's got stories to tell, that one's for sure, as Levi going to get knocked out of his flag and drag, already down nearly 3 levels, as there is going to be an engage here coming through. Kiaya trying to find some sort of an angle, but there's no angle to be had. He's just going to be going back to the fountain. Knight, though, does get CC'd up, gets hit by the Tangle Bar, but they can't finish him off just yet. Eris, though, does finally get the kill. Base 1 on the other side with Bin and Elk. They're in the base. They're killing everybody. Eris is going to have to try to flash out of there and run. He's the last surviving member trying to battle here against On, but On is too strong. Mantra Tether healing up, setting him up for Bin to knock him down. BLG marching on the Nexus. GAM made him work for it in the first couple games, but they made no doubt about it in this third one. BLG came out with a vengeance. 25 minutes in, 15k gold up. BLG will sweep the series.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.